Hello, everyone. My name is Lisa Vernon. I am CEO of MarloJoy Solutions, and it is my honor and privilege to interview Franklin the Helper for our Mess to Mindfulness segment. And I'm excited about that because I feel like sometimes puts people in your life and in your world to help shape and navigate you to become the person that you are intended to be. And we need one another to collaborate, to co regulate, and just to share ideas and support one another. So I do not take any of those things lightly. I am very grateful for the universe connecting us. And I know there are really great things coming out of this business and personal relationship that we have. We're more than colleagues. We are family. So thank you, Franklin, and welcome to From Mess to Mindfulness. And today we're going to be talking to Franklin and getting an idea of what he's doing, how he got there, and the exciting programs that he's offering our kids and our community. So I want you to just tell us everything that you've got going on. And I have a series of questions, and we're just going to go ahead and get started. That sound okay?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. So, the first thing is give us a snapshot of how you grew up. What was life like for little Franklin?
Yeah, so I grew up in Houston, Texas. I was big into sports my whole life. It was just me, my mom, and my aunt, and my grandmother for the most part.
Mhm.
Um Big into basketball and football. Growing up, my favorite subject in school was always English, which, later on down the line would be the reason I'm an author or writer. Let's see what else. My mom she kept me in a lot of different activities because she wanted me to experience a lot of different things and be a well versed person. Like, for example, I was in acting classes at a very young age. Um, I was in all type of sports. I think I played like almost every sport that you can imagine. She just wanted me to have a very well-rounded background, and I thank her for that because it shaped me into the adult I've become today. So yeah, life growing up was it was pretty easy. My family always was there for me, and I couldn't thank them enough.
hmm were there ever a time where because as a mom, we want to expose our kids to everything so they can find their purpose in that arena. Were you ever just like, Mom, I don't want to do that? Were you ever just, or were you really eager to explore anything and everything that she put in front of you? Were you open to that?
Yeah, I was pretty open to everything she threw at me. I, I was always down to try new things. It's always like been my thing when it comes to activities, trying new food, trying new experiences. I never shy away because my aunt always told me talked to me since I was 5. She told me you never know until you try, and that just kind of that just kind of stuck with me. So I was always down to try whatever she threw at me.
All right, so you trusted her vision and walked in that path. And it
Absolutely,
sounds like it turned out to your benefit, so you have no regrets regarding that. That's great.
no
That's really
regrets.
great. The second question is, what kind of student were you in school? What was school like for you?
So I was a AB student. For
Okay.
me to excel in school, subjects outside of English language arts, I had to, try really hard. Math, science, history wasn't necessarily my strong suit. I didn't really like school, but I knew how to get good grades. The only subject I liked at all was English because it was easy and I was really good at it. But all the other ones, they came, with a challenge. And I really had to study, focus, go to tutoring to make A's and B's. It didn't just come naturally to me, but I figured it out. But as far as English, that was my subject. Even as I got older and went into high school, when I was a young kid, I was in all the advanced classes. As I got older, I dropped them, but I always kept advanced English because it was
Mhm.
a talent of mine.
Yeah, it just spoke to you, it sounds like. Certain
Absolutely.
certain things as you're going in this journey, what we call life, really starts to pull, and you get gravitated towards people, towards professions, anybody that's doing anything new and fresh and collaborative efforts. I'm glad that you already have that sense of, okay, I need to follow whatever this energy is and let it lead me down this path. So, given that you said you dropped some AP classes and kept English, were there when you were a student? I'm thinking particularly in high school. As a high school social worker for many years, I still talked with lots of students about barriers. What are some of the barriers that are getting in your way of success? And I talked to the students about understanding and taking advantage of tutorials. And my advice to them is, and I've learned this from college, go to tutorials even if you're getting an A. Don't wait until you're in the hole and you can't come out of it. You maintain that, because what it does is a couple things. It tells your teacher that you're serious about the subject matter and you're passionate about doing your very best. And the teacher gets to know you as a person. And I usually tell my students that professors and teachers have the power of the pen, but more importantly, they know your story and they see your heart, and that's the human side of you. So never really shy away from tutorials, because that is a really great strategy, not only in high school, but definitely in college. And I found that to be true. What about you? What about those barriers for you when you were in school?
Yeah, the barriers for me in school probably were I had two of them. The first one was, balancing being an athlete and being a student in, tougher classes. When I was in 10th grade, I transferred to a private school to play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
In private school, the private school I transferred to in Houston was a college preparatory school. So
Oh.
the very like rigorous and something I wasn't used to being in public school the majority of my life. Finding that balance of keeping my performance on the basketball court and in the classroom, that was definitely a barrier. And just overall, even if I wasn't playing basketball, making those good grades at a
Mm-hmm.
way harder school was just like was a bigger challenge. I really, I always look back to my 2 years at LSA and say like I really became a better student. Like that was the first time like I really had to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those were some of the barriers that I just dealt with. Adjusting as a student
Mm-hmm.
to our curriculum.
Yeah, I like the things. I feel like you're doing like a timeline as you're describing in our segment, how you grew up, the major seeds that your family poured into you, then discovering your AP classes, working hard at it, going to tutorials, and that just pulls me into my next question, which is, as you're going through this journey, and matriculating in high school and getting closer to graduation, what were some of the things that you were discovering about yourself that really spoke to you and your passion?
That's a great question. Going into graduation, some things I discovered about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say two things. One that I didn't want to, be an employee like ever. Like I wanted to own my own company. And two, if I couldn't own my own company, I definitely wanted to go to law school. And I say that because growing up, like my mom, or my mom or teachers or whatever used to ask me like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And
Mm-hmm.
I never said like a lawyer, a doctor, a firefighter, a teacher, whatever. I always said like I want to own my own restaurant. I remember saying that. I remember I said I want to start my own AAU basketball program, or
Mm-hmm.
like I want to, own something. Like, I never said I want to be something. I said I want to have something.
Mm-hmm.
Restaurant, have my own, team, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And as I got closer to graduation and it was time to like pick a major and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when I picked business administration because I want to be a businessman. I didn't want to, be the traditional like police officer or astronaut or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing I'll say is I learned about myself is if I had to like had to pick a employee type profession, I would have
Mhm.
been a lawyer. And I say that because, like I always say, like I've been saying, I was always good at writing. And I
Mhm.
remember in 6th grade, my teacher, this stuck with me for years. My teacher, she told me, lawyers have to be great writers, like they have to. And
Mhm.
going into college, I was thinking, okay, if I can't own my own business, my backup plan is going to be to go to law school because I'm naturally a great writer. So
Wow.
things like I learned about myself, going into graduation because, once you're really about to graduate, it starts to kind of get real. It's not like what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, no, you're almost grown now. So it's really
Right.
time to decide. So those are just some of the things I learned about myself.
Going through the process.
Hmm.
So now that you are gradually getting older, you're discovering your why and walking in your purpose became more clear and clear. What would you go back if we were to rewind the tape? What would you tell your younger self um, as you were maturing and you're now who you are? As you look back at 5, 6-year-old Franklin, what would you tell him and how you have arrived to where you are today? What advice would you give him or what would you share with him?
Probably tell start writing books earlier. Like I'd have
Mm-hmm.
started books. I started my first book came out last year. If I'd have been doing now when I was 5 or 6, who
Mm-hmm.
knows where I'll be right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I'd probably tell myself get your LLC and start writing books. At 5 or 6, they don't even got to be published, but start writing. So when you
Mm-hmm.
have a whole bunch of books that you just put out, put out, put out, put out, put out,
Right.
because that's what you're gonna do when you get older is put out books. So
Mm-hmm.
that's probably exactly what I tell myself. Go right now, tell your mom that you want to make a book, make another one, make another one, make another one. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So would you have done it sooner than later because it's already ingrained in you? Because it sounds like that storyline, the Wizard of Oz, go looking for things that already exist in your soul. We are all talented and uniquely gifted, and some people discover it early, and some people don't discover it at all because they don't feel like they're worthy to step in that purpose. That now that you're full throttle into doing your own thing, why don't you tell us about what it is that you do? And then I have a follow up question with that. So tell us about your books. How did you come up with the themes? What is it that is your inspiration for creating those things that you're doing is so phenomenal. Tell us about that.
got you. So I have 5 books now. My latest book just came out on Tuesday. It's a poem book for like teenagers and adults.
Mm,
And my other 4 books are all children's books. I have one that helps children with bullying, another that helps them with racism, another that helps them, just be yourself, and then another one that helps kids who deal with stuttering. And then, like I said, the 5th one is the poem book for adults that just helps with various life topics. It's like 9 poems in there, and they're all just about different life topics. And the reason I wrote my books about, situations that can help people is because I wanted my books to help. To me, helping people is fun. Like, I remember when I was 18, I had came back from college, and my dad, he's an Omega, so they were having like a Christmas giveaway for like kids that couldn't afford to get any toys for Christmas, and we was giving away bikes, and just to see the kids' reactions, like it was just so heartwarming, helping people, I just think it's cool. And
mm-hmm.
that's why my books aren't just like bedtime stories or just random stories about anything that help with a particular topic, because I feel like if I could write a story that helps someone, I'm playing my part in making society better and making like the world a better place. And my books, they also rhyme because when words rhyme, it keeps your brain more engaged. You're more likely to remember it. You're more likely to learn something if you remember it. So that's why every book I write, every poem I write, they all rhyme.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
so
then
awesome.
what I also do is I do public speaking. I host a workshop for children where kids can come learn how to write a book and then get it published if they want to. And then I also publish other people's books. If you want to get your book published, if anyone's interested in being an author, they can come to me and I'll publish their book for them. Like today, actually, I was at an elementary school and I spoke to the whole elementary school about why bullying, why you shouldn't be a bully, what you should do if someone else is being bullied, how you should handle the situation. Because October, a lot of people don't know this is Bullying Awareness Month.
Hmm.
So I got a couple different sections underneath my LLC business. It's not just the books, but it's public speaking. It's just really anything to help kids and help people through my literature and through my knowledge.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm trying not to cry because I have so much respect for you. And I'm so proud of you and the things that you're doing. Not only because you're young, just because you see the need of pouring whatever you're learning into the souls of other people. So you're sharing your passions and your gifts and your talents with everybody else. You know, which is what we're all supposed to do. Is we don't this work that we do, no matter what area of interest that you land in, it is not for us to keep to ourselves. Our stories are meant for us to be put in the center of them, but more importantly to share those experiences, whether they're your strengths or whether they're your struggles. And I really appreciate that piece to you. So speaking of your books and illustrators and teaching people how to write a book, and to publish that, I'm going to take you up on that because I only have a title of my book, but I have no idea what I'm doing. I think a lot of adults want to write a book based on their personal lives or their professional lives, and just kind of braid it throughout. So I'm definitely interested in being your client one day. So as an entrepreneur, what advice would you give to, let's say, high school students as they are embarking on finalizing their years? What would you tell them as far as obtaining their goals and their dreams and follow up and being consistent? What would you tell them as they are looking for their why and how to chase their why moving forward? What are some of the advice that you would share?
Um, Gravitate to things that your spirit likes to do,
Mm,
that you naturally like to do, that doesn't have anything to do with sports, I'd probably say. Because, growing up as an athlete, as a kid, you don't understand how hard it is to make it as a professional athlete. And a lot of people, kids today, don't really grasp the concept that like they're not gonna make it. Not to kill anyone's dreams, but
mhm,
you need to like be well versed in another talent other than athletics, just in case it doesn't pan out. So, like for example, I was, and I say things gravitate toward things you're good at, because I didn't necessarily growing up love to write. Like I didn't go home, write a bunch of stories every day. I wasn't like writing in my spare time, but I was good at it.
mhm,
And because I was good at it, as I got older, I knew, okay, this is a way I could, feed myself, feed my family, um, grow up, make a career out of it if need be, because I was good at it.
mhm,
And when you're good at something, it's in your spirit. People tell you you're good at something. You can grow to like it. Um,
mhm,
like I know, like some people, they're really good at drawing. They're really artistic. They might not draw every single day, but just being good at it, it's just a skill that you can make money off of in some way, shape, or form as your life progresses. And that's with any skill you may have. It may be math.
right.
I know people that don't sit around and do math problems all day, but they're really, really, really good at math because I feel like God made you really good at it naturally, whatever it is, for a reason. And
Right.
when you should just follow His purpose if it just comes naturally to you like that. I think it'll make your life easier, and
Mhm,
it's another way that you can bless others and use God's blessing to the
mhm,
best abilities if you follow what you're good at. Not necessarily what you like, because I definitely like playing basketball way more than I like writing books, but I was way better at writing books than I was at playing basketball. So I just followed what I was good at.
I remember you telling me that, when we talked before, that life is really not that complicated.
It's not.
I remember you saying that we sometimes we put a lot of added ingredients in life that really taints our vision and our purpose and our goal because it's really not that hard. Can you talk a little bit about what you meant in your philosophy around surrounding that?
Yeah, of course. So, like one of the biggest lies like I ever heard is it's not that easy. When it quite literally is that easy. Like, you know, when you just follow your spirit, like your that gut feeling,
Mm-hmm.
like life is very, very simple. Like I only move off of my gut feeling, my
Mm-hmm.
intuition. Like I don't really move off of like or make decisions off of, what Google says, what I don't ask a lot for advice too often.
Mm-hmm.
Like writing books just felt like something I should be doing. So I just woke up and just started doing it. Um, and life has been a lot easier from once I follow my gut than once, what am I trying to say? It's a lot easier now that I follow my gut, compared to if I had, is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And when you just, don't let the outside world get in your ear and tell you that you can't do that, it's too hard, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like you really can. Like people will be like, how did you publish a book? It's so hard, it's so this, it's so that. When you just follow your gut and really just keep God first, everything is easy. But don't fight your gut feeling. Like that's like the problem I feel like a lot of people have, they want something else for themselves when they should just accept, their fate. For
Mm-hmm.
example, like sure, like I wanted to play college basketball. I wanted to be a basketball player, like a lot of kids out there want to be a football player, volleyball, whatever aspect athletically. But, my intuition was like, nah, bro, like you're way better at writing. Just make it easy on yourself. Make life a lot easier on yourself. And then once you transition and you really start listening to yourself, because you're not really listening to yourself, you're listening to God, because God is within you. He's within all of us. That's really who you're listening to when you listen to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously it's going to be easier when you listen to him, and you're not
Mm-hmm.
going to have no regrets. Like I don't miss playing basketball right now. I don't wish I was playing it. That basketball is just my example, but everyone has their own example out there. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a whole lot easier when you listen to your heart because, that's God talking, because it's
I
really when you just listen to him.
I agree. I totally agree. And we get sidetracked of distractions that are not intended to propel us to the next level, whether they're our friend groups, whether they're social media, things that we watch is not good for our passion and our purpose. And when you're laser focused on what your purpose and plight is for the world and for yourself, it is so loud you can't turn it off when you are deeply rooted and you know you're on the right path, doors continues to open. I don't know if you find in that to be true. I know you are. And the
Oh,
doors that I'm not supposed to walk in, they continuously become locked. And I'm like, why am I struggling with this situation? Because that is not the intention of your goal and your plan. So
right.
if we can just continue to share that message of spirituality and intentionality of where we're going in our lives, then I think life can be simpler. Now, that doesn't mean that there are not highs and lows, and when you lose people in your life, and when major life things happen to us, that does happen as well. But as long as you got your nutric system and you have your prayer partners and you just have yourself that you can just allow yourself to cry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to be angry. It's just not okay to stay there. So when you get
Yeah.
stuck there, you can't even reach for what's next because you're stuck in a situation that is temporary, even though it may be extremely powerful and extremely painful. You have to continue to press forward because that's how you see that you're closer to what you really deserve to have. One last question. So why don't you tell us what's on the horizon for you? What is it that tell us about all the really great things that has happened and that's going to happen, that our listeners can follow you and support what you're doing.
Ooh, so many great things happen. Where do I start? Today was a great day. At Trinity Basin, Ledbetter campus, a charter school. They allowed me to come speak. I think next week, next Thursday, I'm speaking to the Nature School. It's a school out in Frisco. I got my workshop held at the Microsoft headquarters for the kids that want to write their books. Microsoft is sponsoring it. It's on the 20th of October. Um, More speaking engagements, a lot of speaking engagements lined up this month. I've
Mm,
written another book already that I'm planning to put out sometime in the near future for kids. It's teaching kids that, apologize when you're in the wrong.
mm,
This is just a lot, God, bless,
mhm.
keep pouring down,
Yes.
playing. Let me think. One more thing that's big going on. I'm sure there's something. My mom will probably be in my ear letting me know right now because I'll be forgetting.
What about the
Uh,
magazine cover?
Yeah, I was just on the cover of a magazine for, it's a local neighborhood magazine that they highlight somebody in the community every month, and I was on the October issue. Yeah, that it's a whole lot of blessings going on. I can't thank God enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm gonna end my question like Oprah would end her question when she
Yeah,
would do Super Soul Sunday. And you and I are gonna be doing some partnering together down the road as well as
sure.
with your mom. So I look forward to our collaborative efforts that we are still working on, and I'm just so excited about it all. You inspire me for sure. But my last question is, what do you know for sure as Franklin, the
I know
helper? What do you know for
for
sure?
that, like, when you believe in Jesus, like, you have no idea where he'll take you. Like I went from Houston to living in Miami to living in Dallas to writing books. It's like I never in my life thought I'd be doing what I'd be doing. Like, not even a long time ago, about a year and a half ago, if you told me that I'd be in this position right now, I'd be like, how would I even get there? Like, me writing books, speaking to kids, impacting the world on the news, on that. Like, there's no way. Like, there's one thing I know for certain: you never ever know where God can take you if you just keep your head on straight and just believe. Like, it's insane. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
makes no sense. Like, I be thinking, how did I even get here? What am I
Right.
doing? Believe I'm. Yeah, that's one thing
Yes.
I certain. It's pretty crazy.
Yes. Well, Franklin, that was the last question for our interview. I we're gonna produce this and put it on our website of MarloJoy Solutions and send you the link so you can do the same for your company as well. And we'll also put your magazine and your books on our website so people can continue to show up and share. And you do a lot of philanthropy work too. So it's not like you're looking for profit. You also are donating your time, your proceeds, your knowledge to organizations and nonprofit organizations to for the betterment of people. Do you really quickly want to talk about why that's a part of who you are as well as the business side of you?
Yeah, definitely. You know, just because one, it's two main reasons. One, before you can, you gotta crawl before you walk. Like, you can't start a business and just expect to always be making a whole lot of money. You might have to do some things for free before you can start making a profit, before you can really get your name out there. That's number one. Number two is, God has just blessed me so much that, I gotta, give it back. So I don't mind doing stuff free every now and then for sure, especially early stages of my business. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's no big deal to me at all.
Yes. Well, thanks again. I appreciate you. You all, thank you for joining the segment from mess to mindfulness with Franklin the Helper. Be on the lookout for him changing the world and making a dent in the universe. So it has been my honor and privilege. And I thank you, and you have a wonderful rest of your evening and weekend.
Thank you, Lisa. You blessed weekend as well.
Thank you.